What if I told you that the reason you're not making money online yet has nothing to do with a lack of opportunity, but rather with something no one has taught you so far? It might seem strange at first, but think about it. Every day new ways to make money online emerge. New methods, new strategies, promises of extra income, and even financial independence. And yet, the vast majority of people remain stuck, without real results, jumping from attempt to attempt, always starting from scratch. Have you ever been through this? Perhaps you've already tried to enter the world of digital marketing, watched dozens of videos, bought courses, tested ideas like affiliate marketing, dropshipping, content creation, and yet nothing seems to really click. The feeling is that you're always close to succeeding, but never quite there. And that's exhausting, frustrating. It makes you question whether making money online really works or if it's just another illusion sold on the internet. But here's the truth that few people dare to say. The problem isn't the opportunities. It never has been. The problem lies in how you view money, financial growth, and especially what it truly means to build an online income. And that's exactly what separates those who achieve consistent results from those who spend years trying without making any progress. It's not luck. It's not special talent. It's not having started earlier. It's something much deeper, and at the same time, much simpler than it seems. What you're about to discover may surprise you, because while many people are desperately searching for the next secret formula to make quick money, there is a small group of people who are building wealth online every day, consistently, predictably, and increasingly. And no, they don't have access to any secret information that you don't. The difference lies in how they think, how they act, and especially in what they understand about value, money, and growth. Perhaps you've never stopped to think about it, but the way you think about money directly influences every decision you make. From the type of content you consume to the opportunities you choose to pursue. Everything passes through this invisible filter that determines whether you will move forward or remain stuck in the same cycle. And here's an important point. It doesn't matter if you're starting from scratch now or if you've tried many times without success. If you don't adjust this, nothing changes. You can learn new strategies, test new methods, follow all the market trends, but you'll keep going in circles. Now, if you really want to understand how to break out of this cycle and start building something solid, something that generates real income over time, then stay with me until the end, because what you're about to understand can completely change the way you see online money and your own potential within this game. And from here, everything begins with a point that almost no one pays attention to. But that makes all the difference. And perhaps that's exactly why so many people feel lost. Because no one ever explained that before making money online. You need to become the kind of person who is able to consistently generate value. And this isn't about magic, nor about ready-made formulas. It's about building, it's about mindset, it's about understanding the game you're playing. Now, tell me something. Be completely honest. Have you ever found yourself starting something full of motivation and after a few days or weeks, simply stopping because you didn't see quick results? Or doubting yourself, thinking that maybe this isn't for you? If this has happened to you, you're not alone. And that's exactly why this conversation is so important. Also, if this topic makes sense to you so far, I want to ask you something simple but very powerful. Leave a comment below about what has resonated with you the most so far, or what your biggest challenge has been in making money online. It might be something you've never talked to anyone about. This space isn't just for videos, it's for sharing. When you comment, you not only better organize what's going through your head, but you also help other people who are experiencing the same situation realize they're not alone. And if you're noticing that this type of content helps you see things differently, go ahead and like this video. It may seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference. It shows the platform that this content needs to reach more people who are also trapped in this cycle and still haven't understood what's behind it all. And of course, if you want to continue evolving, understanding more about how to build real online income and develop a solid financial growth mindset, subscribe to the channel. Because the idea here is not to give you illusory shortcuts, but to show you the real path, the one that works in the long run, even if nobody talks about it much. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content. And, ultimately, this creates a community of people who are looking for exactly the same thing, to get out of their comfort zone and build something real. And the most interesting thing is that, when you start to see all of this in a different way, some things that previously seemed confusing begin to make much more sense. And that's exactly when everything starts to change. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because there's a hidden truth that few people realize amidst all the promises of easy money. It's not the method that's holding you back, it's the decisions you make before you even begin. And that completely changes the game. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone saying they've discovered a revolutionary new strategy, something that will supposedly transform your life overnight? Sounds tempting, right? But what happens behind the scenes is quite different. Most of these people don't even get to validate what they've started because they go in with the wrong expectations, seeking quick results without understanding the real impact of consistency. And here's a key point in your journey. When you condition your mind to constantly seek shortcuts, you start giving up at the first sign of difficulty. This isn't a lack of ability, it's a lack of direction. It's as if you're always starting over, but never truly evolving. The big turning point happens when you trade haste for building. When you understand that making money online isn't about finding the easiest way, but about becoming someone capable of continuously generating value. This is the transformation that almost no one talks about, but that defines who grows and who stays stagnant. And what you're hearing right now might challenge everything you've believed up to this point, and that's okay, because every real change begins with this kind of discomfort, with this feeling that there's something you haven't yet seen clearly. Ultimately, it's not just money that's at stake. It's how you see opportunities, how you react to challenges, and how you build something that truly has consistency over time. And when you start to realize that, everything takes on a new meaning. Comment below, this makes sense to me. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there's a part of this journey that almost no one shows, but that everyone feels. That feeling of striving, trying to make it work, investing time, energy, sometimes even money. And yet it seems like nothing really changes. It's like you're walking, but not going anywhere. And that weighs on you. Not just your wallet, but your mind. Because silent doubts begin to surface. Will this work for me? Am I doing something wrong? Or am I simply not cut out for this? These questions accumulate and, without you realizing it, begin to shape your decisions. You start acting with more fear, more insecurity, more haste. And this cycle repeats itself. Behind the scenes, what happens is that many people give up not because of a lack of opportunity, but because of emotional exhaustion. The frustration of trying and not seeing immediate results creates an invisible barrier that hinders progress. And the most curious thing is that, often, the person was closer than they imagined, but couldn't sustain the process. This is one of the biggest revelations when we talk about real transformation. It's not just about what you do, but about how you react when things don't go as expected. Because it's at that moment that your mindset is truly tested. And perhaps no one has told you this so directly, but your digital journey isn't just technical. It's emotional, strategic, and above all, internal. And when you start to see that clearly, you stop blaming yourself and begin to adjust what really matters. Comment below, I'm on this journey too. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because everything you're feeling, all this confusion, this constant attempt to get it right and failing, has a much clearer root than it seems. And this is where the turning point comes, and that can completely transform your journey. What truly separates those who make money online from those who keep trying without results is a financial growth mindset. It might sound like just another fancy term, but it's not. It defines how you see opportunities, how you make decisions, and, most importantly, how you react when results don't come as quickly as you expected. Behind the scenes, those who truly grow aren't just focused on making money. They're focused on evolving as people, developing skills, and increasing their own market value. That's the difference that almost no one notices. While many are stuck searching for shortcuts, others are building something solid, even if it seems slower at first. And it's precisely this consistency, this growth-oriented mindset, that generates real impact over time. When you start adjusting that way of thinking, everything changes. The same opportunities take on a different meaning. Challenges cease to be obstacles and become part of the process. And, little by little, you move away from that cycle of aimless trial and error and embark on a more strategic, more conscious journey. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it begins the moment you understand that making money online is a consequence, not the starting point. Comment below. Now I understand. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because one of the biggest mistakes that completely hinders the growth of those trying to make money online is thinking only in the short term. And this seems harmless at first, but it has a huge impact over the course of the journey. Think about it. When you enter this market looking for quick results, every decision you make is based on urgency, not strategy. You choose the most promising method at the moment. Start with high expectations. And at the first sign of difficulty, you already feel it's no longer worth continuing. Behind the scenes, this creates a silent pattern of behavior. Start, get excited, get frustrated, and give up. The problem is that, without realizing it, you condition your mind to always seek immediate rewards. And when they don't come, you get that feeling that something is wrong. But the hidden truth is different. You're trying to harvest before you've sown enough. And that completely destroys any possibility of real transformation. Those who truly build online income see the process differently. These people make decisions thinking about the medium and long-term impact, even when the results haven't yet appeared. They understand that consistency generates growth, and that growth inevitably generates results. This change in mindset is uncomfortable at first because it goes against everything that instant gratification teaches. But it is precisely this adjustment that separates those who live jumping from opportunity to opportunity from those who truly build something solid. And when you start to notice this pattern in yourself, something interesting happens. You stop chasing speed and start focusing on direction. And that completely changes the game. Comment below. I'm going to think about the long term. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because there's a silent pattern that traps many people without them realizing it. The habit of consuming far more than producing. And this seems productive on the surface. But behind the scenes, it's one of the biggest pitfalls of this journey. You start by watching videos, learning strategies, writing down ideas, saving content, and you feel like you're evolving. You even get a sense of progress, as if you're becoming more and more prepared. But there comes a point where this accumulation of information starts to hold you back. Because you enter a cycle of constant learning without real-world application. The hidden truth here is simple and uncomfortable. Knowledge without action does not generate transformation. And more than that, it generates confusion. Because the more you consume, the more paths appear, and the harder it becomes to decide which one to follow. This directly impacts your decisions, leaving you always in a state of preparation, never of execution. And it's not a lack of ability, it's an excess of undirected stimulation. You start to believe you need to learn a little more before you begin. Another technique, another detail. When in practice, what's missing is putting into action what you already know. Those who truly thrive in this market understand that learning only has value when it translates into action, even imperfectly. Even in the beginning, even without guarantees, because it's in practice that revelations, adjustments, and real growth occur. And when you break that pattern and start producing more than you consume, something changes inside you. Your mindset strengthens, your clarity increases, and your progress ceases to be theoretical and becomes visible. Comment below. I'm going to take more action now. I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because there's a third point that completely changes how you view money online. And few people truly understand this, a lack of understanding of value. Many people enter this world thinking only about how much they can earn, but almost no one stops to reflect on what they are giving in return. And this is one of the biggest invisible obstacles on this journey. Because, in the end, money is a direct consequence of the value you generate. It's not about luck, nor about showing up at the right time. It's about impact. Behind the scenes, those who build consistent results are focused on solving real problems, making someone's life easier, and delivering something that makes a difference. Those stuck on the idea of making money online without understanding this end up creating empty content, disconnected offers, and unsustainable strategies. This is the hidden truth that changes everything. People don't pay for effort, they pay for solutions. And when you start to see things this way, your decisions change. You stop thinking only about what you want to sell and start thinking about what you can truly help with. This generates transformation, builds trust, and naturally, generates results. And perhaps this has never been clearer before. But the market responds directly to the value you deliver, no matter the method, the platform, or the strategy. If there is no real value, there is no consistent growth. And when that realization hits you, something starts to fall into place inside you, because you stop chasing money and start building something that attracts money as a consequence. Comment below. I'm going to generate real value now. I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because after understanding these mistakes, the question that really matters arises. What do you truly need to learn to break free from this cycle and start building something solid? And the answer may be simpler and at the same time, more challenging than it seems. It's not about mastering dozens of strategies at once, nor about chasing every new trend that appears. What truly generates transformation is developing skills that endure, regardless of the platform or method. Communication, for example, the way you convey an idea can be the deciding factor between being ignored or making an impact. Another point is understanding people. Their pains, desires, doubts, because that's where real value is born. Behind the scenes, those who grow consistently are focused on solving problems in a clear and practical way. They're not trying to appear perfect, they're trying to be helpful, and that completely changes the dynamics of the game. Because when you learn to truly help, you stop depending on luck and start building results based on conscious decisions. Furthermore, there's something few consider, but which makes all the difference on this journey: consistency. Not the forced kind, full of pressure and frustration, but the kind built with purpose, with direction. Small actions repeated over time have a much greater impact than large, isolated attempts. And when you start putting all of that together, skills, clarity, consistency, a new perspective takes shape. You stop seeing money as the ultimate goal and begin to see it as a consequence of something well built. Comment below. I'm building for real. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because understanding all of this is important. But what truly transforms your reality are the practical decisions you begin to make from here on out. And it's at this point that most people get stuck. Because they continue thinking the same way, even after realizing what needs to change. The turning point happens when you replace a simple yet powerful question. Instead of waking up every day thinking, how can I make money today? You start asking yourself, how can I become more valuable today? It seems like a small change, but the impact over time is enormous. Because this new mindset directs your actions, your choices, and even the type of effort you put in. Behind the scenes, This is one of the biggest revelations of those who truly grow, focusing on evolution before reward. This completely changes your journey, because it takes you away from the anxiety of immediate results and puts you on a path of conscious building. You begin to develop skills with intention, to observe the market better, to understand what works and what needs to be adjusted. And gradually, things begin to fall into place. Your actions become clearer, your decisions more strategic, and your progress no longer depends on momentary motivation. You enter a different cycle, where each step has a purpose and each lesson learned generates real impact. This inner transformation isn't visible overnight, but it completely changes the course of your journey. Because when your mindset changes, everything around you starts to respond differently. Comment below, I will improve every day. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because when you start putting all these pieces together, mindset, decisions, consistency, and value, there's a silent turning point that happens within you. It's not explosive or immediate, but it's extremely powerful. You stop just trying and start actually building, and that changes everything. Because while most people are still stuck in the anxiety of wanting quick results, you begin to see the process with a different clarity. You understand that each small action is part of a larger structure, and that the impact doesn't come from a single move, but from the sum of well-directed decisions over time. Behind the scenes, this change completely separates two types of journey. On one side, people who continue repeating the same cycle of frustration, always waiting for something external to solve the problem. On the other, people who take responsibility for their own growth and begin to adjust their behavior, focus, and direction. And perhaps the greatest hidden truth of all is this: making money online isn't just about what you do, but about who you become while you do it. This involves transformation, impact, and a real shift in perception about the game as a whole. When this awareness takes hold, you no longer depend on luck or momentary motivation. You enter a process of continuous building, where each step strengthens the next, and where results cease to be a matter of chance and become a consequence. And it is precisely at this point that the journey begins to gain a new depth. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content. Comment below, I'm going to change my mindset. And if you've made it this far, you've probably already realized that it's not just about making money online, but about changing the way you view decisions, your mindset, and the very process of building your business. This already puts you at a different level from most people who start and give up halfway through. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, because the idea here isn't to give you empty shortcuts, but to show you, step by step, what truly sustains results in the long term. And tell me in the comments, I'm with you until the end. I want to know who really followed this journey to the end, because that shows that the message reached where it needed to reach. If this video helped you in any way to see things more clearly, please leave a like, because that strengthens the connection and helps this content reach other people who are in exactly the same place you were before you started watching. And now, if you want to continue along this line of understanding and delve even deeper into this mindset shift and financial building, there's a video here that complements all of this in an even more practical way. Click and continue reading there.